I took another take before this, but I done goofed and it didn't focus on my face. So here's my beautiful, beautiful, oily face. Today I'm going to be talking to you about AP Environmental Science for 10 minutes. I'm going to structure this totally not based on a rubric I was given. Oh, my paper So, you know, obviously my first vlog got to start with story time. Fun fact, I did not want to take this course. I actually originally planned to take AP Physics 1 or A, whichever the first one is. The only reason I didn't end up taking it was because it didn't fit into my schedule at the school that I'm at. So I had to switch it out for environmental science, and I made a note of that in one of the first things we did. I was like, yeah, I didn't plan to take this. Looking back, as the course is complete, the test is done, and I'm going into next school year, I'm very glad that I didn't end up in physics, not to diss any of my my Johns who love physics, but I don't think it would have been a good fit for me specifically. But in general, I kind of underestimated like how interesting the course would be in the beginning, and I ended up really liking it. So you're probably wondering, what is AP Environmental Science? You keep mentioning it, but you don't actually explain what it is. Alright, so according to College Board, the AP Environmental Science Board teaches students the scientific principles, concepts, and methodologies required to understand the interrelationships of the natural world, to identify and analyze environmental problems, both natural and human-made, to evaluate the relative risk associated with these problems, and to examine alternative solutions for resolving and or preventing them. So in actual human speak, earth science with a good dose of what policies and laws affect these processes in the environment, how are we affecting things, blah blah blah. I think at least my textbook did a pretty good job of splitting it evenly between the two. There are chapters where it's mainly like, here's the process, learn it, and then there's also chapters where it's like, hey, how are humans messing up the world in this way, blah blah blah. Really, it's more of a holistic approach, I think, as far as the class goes, to balance out the environmental issues that humans are causing, and also how we continue to develop our societies in a sustainable way. There is a pretty even split between the earth science portion, which is you know, your rock types, your nutrient cycles, your soils, tectonic plates, stuff like that, the different levels of the atmosphere. So if you're very interested in that, obviously this will be the best course to take out of all the AP ones, because it actually focuses on that. But also, if you're interested just in learning how we humans are affecting the planet, I think the course does a really good job of showing that. That was a really long rambling explanation. I'm gonna have to cut this, probably. But, and yeah, that is what the course is about in general. So, time for the next segment, I guess. Top 10 list time. Number 10, the Clean Air Act. What I learned is that was a landmark piece of legislation for the environmental movement. Helped clean up our air by imposing regulations. Thank you, Richard Nixon. Never thought I'd say that. Yeah. Number 9, aquifers. That is where water goes when it rains. Water table. Fun fact. Number 8, place and how volcanoes form and stuff. Yeah, when you got a plate moving over a hot spot, you get a volcano. Number 7, El Nino and La Nina. So El Nino is a pretty big phenomenon. It happens every couple of years, a bit more than a couple. Pretty much severely affects stuff on the Pacific side of the US and also Latin America. Makes the waters a lot warmer than they need to be. And then the opposite is true with La Nina, and the waters get a lot colder. So we just sort of went over how those differed while it happened. We talked about currents and wind stuff, so that sort of ties it all together. That was a fun fact. Keep saying that. Number 6, rule of 70 for human populations. So you can actually use data to find out an estimate of how long it'll take for a population of a country to double. And what you'll find is that it's not that long, because humans populate a lot. We could keep populating this Earth until we have nothing to do with it. That's kind of sad to think about. Anyway, number 5, eutrophication. So that is when, as a result of too many nutrients from the water, into the water, actually, fish die because the environment that they live in don't have enough oxygen for them to actually breathe. That topic's a nice mix of the environmental side of it and also the human side of it, because humans are causing this, but it is an environmental process. So that was really interesting to learn about. My laptop thing fell. Oh no. Number 4, the types of renewable energy. You got your classes, you got your wind, you got your water, you got your nuclear. We went into the process of how nuclear energy actually works, which I didn't know before, so that was a fun thing for me to learn. Ethanol, we all love corn. That was just a really interesting chapter for me. Number 3, the soil levels. You got your O and your A. That was one of the last things we learned, so I don't remember that well, but soil. 2, your nutrient cycles. Who could forget about the nitrogen cycle and all the bacteria that I actually remember the name of that helps it, and lightning. This will make sense to you when you actually take the course and know what the nitrogen cycle is all about, but have fun with memorizing that. I did. And number 1, your rock types. You know, rocks come from different sources. The details are staying in my mind right now, but yeah, rocks. They rock. Yeah. Alright, some of you wide-eyed viewers might be noticing that the lighting's different. That's because I'm recording this a lot later after I realized that some footage didn't work out. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep this in the video. Oh god, my session expired. What? That's annoying. What can future students expect from AP Environmental Science? So, number 1, the labs are going to be interesting because there are a lot of concepts to cover, there's a lot of stuff, and most of it isn't going to gel right away with what you already know. So you might need some labs to drill in the concepts a bit. The other thing you can expect is a lot of work. It is an AP level course, even though people say it's the easiest AP level science course, it's still supposed to be college level work. So it's going to be a lot. Again, there's a lot of content to cover. If your teacher even wants to attempt to review stuff with you, they're probably going to give you a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of content to go over. I mean, you're talking about just all of Earth science plus all of the human impacts related to that. So there is just a big amount to get in your head, and as a result of that, you're going to be doing a lot of work to get it into your head. Number 3, a lot of moments where you're like, wow, when you look at the actual human impacts of a lot of things. Pretty much anything we do has an environmental impact. In TikTok they actually had sections where it was like, here's what you can do to help the planet a bit. You can call your senator or use less water or whatever, which I found really interesting. Even if you don't have my textbook, you're gonna end up getting a sense of just how much humans affect the goings on of the Earth and be more conscious of that in your everyday life as a result of it. 4, it sort of ties back into number 3 actually, but you are gonna end up having entering discussions with people in your class or even outside of your class about some of the things that are going on because you are more aware of them. So we had some very interesting discussions in class about populations and the ethics of certain population control methods. Should populations even be controlled? It's a lot of big ideas that really at the end of the day end up making a whole lot of difference on the sustainability of the Earth. And number 5, I'm gonna have to cut all this out in a bit when I edit this. could be very annoying. Number 5, one thing you're gonna have to expect is free response questions in a lot of them. That is around half of the AP exam, free response questions. So if you haven't learned how to do those in the past, you're gonna learn how to do them here. Essentially, they are multi-part, open-ended questions. For example, they might give you a food chain and ask you to explain how the animals are connected, species that are connected, and how humans can impact that, or so and so, blah blah blah. Those require a lot of intimate understanding of the concepts that are taught in the course. So pay attention if you want to, get higher than like a 2. So yeah, that is 5 things you can expect if you're going to take this course, which I would recommend you do. It's pretty fun. I think that bonus number 6. So what are my 5 wishes for the course? I'm going to do this on a class-specific thing because I am not going to suggest any course changes overall. I don't think I have the right to. But as far as my class, in my school, well, maybe more hands-on. Labs, there were some labs or activities that were just like, here's the scenario and data, do this, which were helpful, but the interactive element I feel like really helps cement concepts in. At least for me, I'm a very hands-on kind of person. I need to do things before I understand them. And making that doing interesting, I feel, is really helpful, at least on my end, for learning things. So more interactive, hands-on, you do stuff labs would be really good. Number 2, even though it's not part of the course, incorporating more documentaries into the course, similar way to labs, because movies and documentaries can get ideas across in a way that's not boring because they are a visual medium. Number 3, focusing on reviewing things, just a lot of focus on the review aspect of it, because like I said, there is a lot of content in the course. A lot of reviewing is going to be necessary if you're going to want to be prepared for the exam at all. Obviously, the projects that we did this year, some of them were really fun. So incorporating more projects, if you can kind of sense the theme here, just a lot more hands-on activities to make, to get students involved in the concepts. Maybe adding projects to some of the more boring or memorizing heavy aspects like the nutrient cycle, maybe that would be an idea. Just because when you focus creatively on a subject, it is a lot easier to understand and retain. And number 5, what was my 5th wish for the course? I wish it stays as interesting, as fun as it was for me this year. And that concludes my video. I'm gonna have to edit all this now, and it's gonna be a lot of work, and it's gonna be very annoying, but I will do it because, fun fact, this video was for a grade, but I put in enough effort so that it doesn't matter. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.